Kyle with Cruiser Customizing, and welcome to this week's Tip of the Week. Today we're going to be installing the Constellation driving light bar.
Years ago, Kuryakyn came out with the 4001 standard driving light bar. It was a huge success. But over the years, they took customer feedback, and they have now come out with what's called the Constellation driving light bar.
What makes this light bar different from the original light bar is that it has integrated turn signals equivalent to your OEM.
The original 4001 light bar has a small LED strip, which then you need to modify or add turn signals to. With this kit, you're 100% taken care of. In addition to the integrated turn signals Kelly speaks of, this unit is way more adjustable. In addition to width adjustment, you can also choose whether you want your lights to go forward or back.
Kyle, in your opinion, what's the best way to wire this light bar?
Kelly, you could wire this light bar directly to your stock headlight, meaning you could wire it to go on with either your low beams or your high beams, but that is not recommended. What is recommended is the universal wire harness from Kuryakyn. This harness attaches positive and negative to the battery and gives you a couple key features. Number one, it will allow you to have a relay. The relay is going to protect your electrical system from being overloaded. Number two, it's got a fuse source. Number three, a switch.
We've gone through the instructions, and while it seems fairly simple, there are quite a few moving parts.
So Kelly, let's get started by taking the headlight and turn signals off. You'll assemble the bar itself, and then I'll tackle the electrical.
You got it. Step number one, covering the fender with a cloth.
While Kelly's removing the light bar from there, I'm going to go ahead and start removing the screws that hold the headlight in. The headlight disconnected from the bucket itself, we can go ahead and remove this plug, which will allow us access to all the wires we're going to need to complete this installation. Come on in close and take a look, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're doing here in the headlight. Here on the inside of the headlight, we can see that our running lights here are blue, our ground wires are black, right hand turn signal is going to be green, and our left turn is going to be brown.
We're now going to remove these two nuts, which hold our headlight bucket, and install our model-specific mounting bracket.
With this Constellation bar, we've got a unique opportunity. If you line up the holes here, this is the forward mounting. These lights fit much farther forward than the headlight. This allows the use of most windshields. Now conversely, if we flip this over to the other side, we could mount the lights further back. If we weren't running a windshield, this would probably be my preferred option because it kind of tucks the lights back next to the headlight. Now before installing this screw, I want to make sure I touch it up with a little bit of blue Loctite. That'll make sure this thing doesn't go anyplace in the future. Now before we make the final adjustments on this light bar, we're going to make sure that we're facing these lights in the right direction. We're probably going to want to angle them down, maybe one more click. Now I'm going to hold this in place like so and finish the job. The universal wire harness from Kuryakyn is an essential when installing any of the Kuryakyn driving lights, or in my opinion, when installing any driving light bar that doesn't come with its own switch source, relay, or fuse. We now have complete access to our positive and our negative terminals. I've removed this bolt here so I can attach the relay. Now this relay is going to sit down in this pocket right next to the stock fuse block. Wiring to the battery buttoned up, I'm now going to take this harness, run it up through the frame, zip tying it in key locations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed these wires through the back of the headlight housing so we can attach them to our driving light bar.
Now I'm sure to many of you this just looks like a rat's nest, but we're going to walk you through this step by step.
The first thing you're going to want to do in order to alleviate lots of confusion is to cut off any excess wire. What I've done here is I've cut each of the stock wires here on the stock bar, and I've added a butt connector to the other end. What this is going to allow me to do is to plug each of these wires back into the factory connectors. So as you can see, I've taken the blue wire that is our running light and attached it to the blue running light wires on the new Kuryakyn harness. I'm now going to take my ground wire, run it up into place here, and crimp it. Now the two violet wires I have remaining are going to plug into the green and brown stock turn signal wires. Here we have it. Everything's been shortened up to a proper length and all the stock factory turn signal plugs have been installed. We're going to start here by plugging in the running light. Plugging in the running light, we're going to come over and grab this red wire. This is the switch source. Every time the running lights are on, the driving lights will be able to function. Moving back to the turn signals, we'll go ahead and plug the green in. Next the brown. Now we're going to go with the ground. Now I went ahead and doubled up the ground wires for the driving lights and connected the second ground wire for the turn signals so it can slide into the same connector. Now we've got our two driving light wires. I'm going to lock these in. We're going to take the new bundle of wires that we've created. We're going to set it back into the housing, plug in our headlight, install our two Phillips screws, and this job is complete. There we go, the Kuryakyn Constellation driving light bar, wire harness, and model-specific mounting bracket.
Thank you for watching this week's Cruiser Customizing Tip of the Week.
Until next week, take care and ride safe.